after the death of CDF General Ogolla. Today we are looking at who is likely going to be the next CDF. But as you all know, KDF has its appointment rules, which are strictly followed, the Called Tonje rules, which, if will be adhered to, will guide on who is likely going to be next CDF. Before we dive in, kindly subscribe to our channel, like this video, and turn on notification. Thank you so much. Let's first start by looking at the final moments leading to death of CDF Ogolla and how he died. The president read the detailed events leading up to the death of the miliatary officers. In a televised address to the nation from State House, Nairobi, Ruto said Ogolla boarded the Kenya Air Force Huey helicopter and left Nairobi Thursday morning. He said the CDF was on a trip to visit troops deployed in the North Rift under Operation Maliza Uhalifu and to inspect the ongoing school renovation works in 5 schools. The president said Ogolla was to inspect Chesitet Primary School, Cheptulel Boys High School, Chepoton Primary School, Ksaa Primary School, and Sablimoi Primary School as part of his working tour.
Today, at 2:20 p.m., our nation suffered a tragic air accident in Sindar area, Keben location, Tot Division in Elgeyo Marakwet County. I am deeply saddened to announce the passing on of General Francis Omondi Ogolla, the Chief of the Kenya Defence Forces. Together with him in the crash were 11 other gallant military personnel, 9 who also passed on with him, and 2 survivors. The gallant military personnel who passed on with General Ogolla are Brigadier Swale Saidi, Colonel Duncan Keitany, Lieutenant Colonel David Sawe, Major George Benson Magondu, who was also the pilot, Captain Sora Mohammed, Captain Hilary Litali, Senior Sergeant John Kinywa Mureithi, Sergeant Cliffons Omondi, and Sergeant Rose Nyawira. The Chief of Defence Forces on board the Kenya Air Force Huey helicopter had left Nairobi this morning to visit troops deployed in the North Rift under the Operation Maliza Uhalifu, and to also inspect the ongoing school renovation works in the following schools: Chesitet Primary School, Cheptulel High School, Chepoton Primary School, Ksaa Primary School, and Sablimoi Primary School. As part of his working tour, the CDF had been briefed on the security situation by a multi-agency team stationed at Chesitet in Baringo County, after which he proceeded to the Kainuk Forward Operating Base in the Turkana County, where he addressed troops, commending them for their resilience and operational success. The Chief of Defence Forces and his entourage departed from Kainuk to Chesegon in West Pokot County, where he launched the rehabilitation of Cheptulel Boys High School. He then departed Chesegon for the recruits training school in Uasin Gishu County, where he was scheduled to inspect construction facilities at the institution. Unfortunately, the aircraft crashed shortly after takeoff. This is a very sad moment, a moment of great sadness. For me, as the Commander-in-Chief of the Kenya Defence Forces, it is a tragic moment for the Kenya Defence Forces fraternity, and it is a most unfortunate day for the nation at large. Our motherland has lost one of her most valiant generals. We have also lost gallant officers, servicemen, and women. The demise of General Ogolla is a painful loss to me, and certainly the sorrow we all feel about this passing on is shared by all of the people of Kenya, and most especially the KDF fraternity. A distinguished four-star general has fallen in the course of duty and in the service of country. I convey my deepest condolences to all families that are grieving this untimely loss and our mourning nation as well. May the Almighty God rest their souls in peace and grant their families fortitude at this time of very deep sorrow. I also wish quick recovery to the two injured soldiers in this accident who are now in hospital. The Kenya Air Force has constituted and dispatched an air investigation team to establish the cause of the air crash. In honor of the life and the distinguished military career of the fallen general who lost his life not just while in office, but in active military duty, the nation will observe a period of 3 days of mourning commencing tomorrow, the 19th of April, 2024. During this time of national mourning, the Kenya flag, the Kenya Defence Forces flag, the East African Community flag, and flags of all formations of the military shall fly at half-mast in the Republic of Kenya and in Kenya missions abroad.
The CDF had been briefed on the security situation by a multi-agency team stationed at Chesitet in Baringo County, after which he proceeded to the Kainuk Forward Operating Base in Turkana County, where he addressed troops, commending them for their resilience and operational successes, Ruto said. The president said Ogolla and his entourage then departed from Kainuk to Chesagon in West Pokot County, where he launched the rehabilitation of Cheptulel Boys High School. He said he then departed Chesagon for the Recruits Training School in Uasin Gishu County, where he was scheduled to inspect construction facilities at the institution. Unfortunately, the aircraft crashed shortly after takeoff at 2:20 p.m. General Ogolla now becomes the shortest-serving Chief of General Staff, having only assumed the reins of power on April 29, 2023, after taking over from retired General Robert Kibochi. Ruto said that following the crash, Kenya Air Force constituted and dispatched an air investigations team to establish the cause of the air crash. The president said the death of Ogolla is painful to him and Kenyans in general. This is a moment of great sadness for myself as the Commander-in-Chief of the Kenya Defence Forces, the Kenya Defence Forces fraternity, and the nation at large, he said. The president described Ogolla's death as the demise of a four-star general who has fallen in the course of duty and service to the country. Our motherland has lost one of her most valiant generals, gallant officers, servicemen, and women. The demise of General Ogolla is a painful loss to me, and certainly the sorrow we all feel about his passing is shared by all the people of Kenya, and especially the KDF fraternity. Let us now look at the origin of Tonje rules and how army appointments are done. Three-star retired General Humphrey Njoroge said the Defense Council is the ultimate for all rule. He said the entry age for cadet recruitment is a minimum of 18 years. Other criteria include medical and physical fitness and educational qualifications. The general said the Defense Council is the ultimate for all rules, procedures, and instructions concerning the KDF. These involve criteria for promotion, appointments, and continuous training. Criteria for enlistment, commissioning, promotion from one level to another are also within the purview, the general said. He said the entry age for cadet recruitment is a minimum of 18 years. Other criteria include medical and physical fitness and educational qualifications. He said lieutenants recruited at 18 years should attain the rank of captain by 37 years, and failure to do so, they exit the Army. Captains are promoted to major depending on their performance or vacancies available, he said. The general said majors who reach 42 years before promotion to lieutenant colonel automatically retire. He said lieutenant colonels retire at 45 years. If they reach that age without further promotion to full colonel, they exit. If full colonels are not promoted to brigadier by 48 years, they too exit the military, he said. The general said brigadiers serve until 52 years, and if not promoted to major general by then, they too exit the military. He said major generals retire at 54 years. The Army service commander, who is a lieutenant general, serves for 4 years or until 58 years, whichever comes earlier. He said lieutenant generals retire at 58 years with no exception except for the one promoted to a full general CDF who retires at 62 or 4 years in appointment, whichever comes earlier. The general said these rules are referred to as the Tonje rules. General Daudi Reramoi Arap Chepkonga Tonje was the Chief of General Staff between 1996 and 2001. General Daudi Tonje was the Chief of General Staff between 1996 and 2001. General Tonje was also the commander of the Kenyan Army between 1993 and 1996. He persuaded the Defense Council to adopt the rules and follow them. The reason why service commanders retire at the age requirement of their rank or 4 years in command, whichever comes earlier, is to ensure that they do not become individual institutions, the general said. Thus, even if appointed too early, CDFs do not serve for more than 4 years. He said those promoted too late, towards 58 years, serve only for the remaining period until they reach 58 years. Navy and Air Force commanders, who are major generals, retire at 54 years or 4 years in command, whichever comes earlier. General Tonje was a visionary general in the Kenya military. Now let us turn on who is likely going to become next CDF after the death of CDF Ogolla. Lieutenant General Kahariri sat in as the acting CDF immediately the tragedy occurred and will remain defense chief until when a substantive general is appointed. This follows the death of CDF General Francis Ogolla in a helicopter crash on Thursday in Sindar area, Cabin location, Tot Division, in Elgeyo Marakwet County. Retired Gen Daudi Tonje told journalists in his Kitale home, "There is no vacuum in the military because there is a VCDF. The VCDF will take over for now until the president announces the substantive holder," he said. Lieutenant General Kahariri sat in as the acting CDF immediately the tragedy occurred and will remain defense chief until when a substantive general is appointed and named by the president in accordance with the law. The National Defense Council will meet and deliberate on who will be the next military boss and advise the president, who will make the appointment. There is no vacuum. There is a VCDF who will act until a new and substantive CDF is appointed, said an official aware of the issue. The recently announced changes in the military had sparked succession speculation in and outside the institution. And even though General Ogolla had a year or two to serve, speculations were rife on who would succeed him following changes announced on March 8th by the Defense Council. The next CDF will come from the Kenya Navy. This now leaves Lieutenant General Kahariri, Vice Chancellor, National Defense University, Lieutenant General Jimson Mutai, and the VCDF as the possible successors. Under the norms in the military, Lieutenant General Mutai and Major General Anga stand the best chance to succeed Gen Ogolla because they have both been service commanders. Being as a service commander is a consideration in naming of a CDF. Lieutenant General Kahariri served as Deputy Commander of the Kenya Navy. Apart from Maj Gen Anga, the other service commanders are Kenya Army Commander Lieutenant General David Terus and Air Force Commander Major General John Omenda. The Kenya Defense Forces Act says a CDF, his deputy and service commanders, shall serve a single term of 4 years or retire upon attaining the retirement age. But the act also says the president may, on the recommendation of the National Defense Council, extend the CDF's term for a period not exceeding 1 year in times of war or emergencies like political uncertainty. A general is supposed to retire at 62, a lieutenant general at 61, a major general at 59, and a brigadier at 57 years. However, the law puts a disclaimer on the general that the maximum retirement age shall be amended from time to time through legislation on the recommendation by the Defense Council. Under the rules introduced by Called Tonje, the position of the CDF is rotated among the 3 services of the Army, Air Force, and Navy. Gen Ogolla is from the Air Force and his predecessor, Gen Robert Kibochi, was from the Army. This means that the next CDF must come from the Navy. We have come to an end of this video. Kindly subscribe to our channel. Like this video and turn on notification. You can also write your comment. Thank you so much. Let's meet in our next video.